Bill, with your permission, I'll actually pick it up. We're right at 105. I hear myself, so that means the stream is going. It's working. Excellent. So welcome to HCC Missouri City Campus. This is a Houston Community College building. And out here, we have our paramedics being trained on the first floor. We have our firefighter trainings out here as well. And then we do offer English, ESL, adult education classes out here in this area. You may or may not be aware that HCC has about 79 buildings across Houston. So huge. We're the third largest community college in the U.S. And we have about over 100,000 plus students, every year. My job is, so my name is Ravi Brahma. No, don't worry. I'm the director for student innovation and entrepreneurship at the college. My role is a district role. However, I'm focused heavily on the southwest side. So much that my office is literally down the hall in this campus. It makes it easier when you live in Sugar Land. You have to drive to downtown as well. Out of my office, we offer competitions, inventathons, or what we call hackathons, student hackathons, and we're all about building something for those hackathons. And then we offer mentoring for small business owners, and then we work with our partners, SCORE, who you'll learn a little bit more about from Bill for these opportunity workshops. The goal of my office really is to infect you with the entrepreneurial virus. I think all of us have it. All of us need some little training, and we do that inflection by introducing you to cool workshops like this. So today, with Bridget talking to us about social media and sort of talking about the small business perspective, how could you use it? But some of you are students, some of you are aspiring entrepreneurs. By teaching you the skills, we're getting you in that infection. Once you have the entrepreneurial virus, I think our community benefits. When you start your businesses, when you grow your businesses, all of us benefit. So my job really sits under economic development department at HCC. Our goal is to really help our community through entrepreneurship, build jobs, create jobs, and then and educate people around entrepreneurship. So please be aware that HCC has these workshops, but we also have a procurement department which spends about $1 million a day, which means if you're a small business owner, Bridget, you can become a vendor of HCC and be paid for your services. There's a process for that. If you want to learn how, please reach out to my office or to Bill, and he can connect you to me. We also have a Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses program. If you've been in business for at least 3 years, you've got 4 employees or more, and your revenues are around 150K and up, then the Goldman Sachs program is a fantastic free program for the co-founder or the founder of the company to go through the Goldman Sachs curriculum. They will walk you through step by step in this exclusive group of other business owners, and by the end of the year, those business owners will double their revenues only because they're with other entrepreneurs getting taught something cool that's vetted by the Goldman Sachs program. We also have in our office the Minority Business Development Agency. So if you're a minority business or you're looking to get certified, registered, and need access to federal contracting, our offices can help you get access to those federal contracts. So as you grow your business, MBDA, Goldman Sachs, HCC procurement, these are all things available to you for your business as you go down this entrepreneurial journey. Okay? So that's all I had to say. I wanted to thank Bill Feinberg, who is sort of the partner in crime for the Southwest region. He is responsible for bringing SCORE here and Bridget here to us. So Bill, I am super appreciative of our partnership with the SBA and SCORE. So please tell us a little bit more about what you do, and thank you for letting me host this event for you. I'll sneak out here. Please join us.
Does everybody know what SCORE is? So I can just leave, go get a Coke. As Robbie said, my name is Bill Klingberg. We have another SCORE mentor out, and I'll explain what mentor means out there. SCORE is a group of 11,000 volunteers nationwide in over 300 offices, Houston obviously being one, that help entrepreneurs get into business, or if you're in business, we can help you grow. Our services are essentially free. Sometimes there are charges for workshops, but face-to-face communication with you, mentoring, where you come in, tell us your problem. Hopefully we have somebody in the very same business you've been in, wanting. And the whole key to SCORE is if we've been there and screwed it up, and you're fixing to go there, we can tell you how we screwed it up, so that you guys don't have the same problems that we have. There's no sense in repeating problems. So that's the whole concept of SCORE. Keep in mind that we're free. We have lawyers, we have accountants, we have sales and marketing people like myself. We have people from all different marketplaces, oil and gas, chemicals, whatever. We have people that own restaurants and or have owned restaurants in the past. Some of us are retired, I am. Some of us still work and have more up-to-date knowledge. One of the reasons we use people like Bridget is because she's in business with doing social media routinely today. Social media to me, in my age, was newspaper ads and radio. There's still a little bit of that, but I don't think that's a big deal, not like social media. So you got some stuff out there. This is a general piece of literature. It shows where our locations are and tells a little bit about us. If you wanted to talk to somebody at SCORE, you'd go to houston.score.org and you type in your question or your concern and then hit submit, and we'd find you a mentor. That person would contact you and set up a meeting. You can also put in a keyword, like if you did want to start a restaurant. I ain't your guy. I sold large industrial pumps my entire career. And so I don't know anything about running a restaurant. But there are people, like I say, in SCORE that do. And so you can do it that way. We have 2 evaluation forms. One is for the presentation and the speaker. Please tell us if the promotion we did matches what you get. That's important to us because the wording, if you get what you thought you were going to get, that's important to us and Bridget. There's also a form here for HCC, for you to communicate with them about any kinds of things that you might want to see. Now, any questions right now? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Bridget Romo, and we'll get going. Thanks very much for coming.
All right, thanks you guys for having me. My name is Bridget Romo, and I am a mom to this little blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy named Christian. I'm a multi-business owner, so I own a social media agency. I also do a lot in the fitness world. So I have fitness coaching, competitions, things like that. I'm actually a self-taught social media expert. So just like Robbie was saying, he learns how to garden on YouTube. I've learned a lot of my social media by buying courses, watching YouTube videos, things like that. I'm also the founder of Empowering Women Through Fitness. That is a weekly talk show. So I do interview women from around the United States as well as the world, and they share their stories on my show. And it's just a platform to inspire other women. I also host a TV show and do speaking, inspirational speaking, as well as presentations like this. And then you may catch me in front of the camera doing some fitness modeling as well. I've been in Houston for 5 years. I'm originally from Minneapolis. And because everyone always asks me, I'll just tell you I'm half Mexican and half Lebanese. So it's where the weird look comes from. This is just a snapshot of some of the clients that I've worked with. Some current, some past. One of my more exciting ones, although it was a very stuffy group, was the Harvard Business School Club of Houston. That is a group of people who have no idea what social media is, so I had to set up all of their platforms and then give them basically written instructions on how to write a post. So that was pretty fun. One of my more fun clients is a Miss Houston pageant, because I get to go and be behind stage with the girls, with the judges everywhere, and I do a lot of behind the scenes and different footage for them. So you really get to meet a lot of different people, and how I got started in social media was actually accidental. So I didn't set out to, I always had the entrepreneur bug, but social media wasn't necessarily my first passion. I was doing, like I mentioned, a lot of the fitness things. So I was connecting photographers and models and helping them to build portfolios. So eventually I got a model that was like, I like how you do your social media, will you do mine? I was like, no, I don't do social media, that's up to you. She's like, I'll pay you. I'm like, oh, okay, no, let's talk. So she asked me to write on her behalf and post on her behalf, and that was kind of my first introduction, my first client, as you will. It was difficult because she was a personal trainer, so I had to take on her personality and learn how to write as if I was her. She referred me, then that person referred me, and before I knew it, I had a full-blown side hustle. Fast forward 3 years, I got laid off from my corporate job that I worked super hard to get, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to make this full-time, and I haven't looked back. So sometimes opportunities come to you when you least expect it. So let's talk about social media. So we all know, how many of you here have Instagram? How many of you here have Facebook? How many of you here have LinkedIn? Cool. So let's do one thing real quick, and I actually learned this at a SCORE event. If you have LinkedIn, download it on your phone. Everybody will pull up their phones right now and go to LinkedIn. And then you're going to go to the little double people tab. You know where I'm going with this? Maybe?
Yeah, connect together now.
Yep. Yep. So go ahead and turn nearby on. And this is just a fun little trick that you guys can, Facebook and Instagram doesn't have this feature, so you can go ahead and send invites. I'll leave mine open for a little bit, but feel free to send me an invite. So I don't need to get into all the stats of social media. It's clear just by the raised show of hands in this room that everybody is on social media and they understand the importance of it. So we're going to go right along. So how many of you, can I see a show of hands again, who have a business or are striving to have a business? What is yours? You can just say it. I'll ask a few of you because
I'm a book publisher, and also I have a women empowerment group that's nationwide.
Awesome. And you?
I have an online store.
Online store. What are some other ones? Go ahead. In the back row.
Oh, we know.
Yeah.
We own a technology company.
Technology company. And you? Yes, you.
Green.
Yeah.
I have a bakery and also have a haircut.
Okay, perfect. So we have a variety of different businesses. So how do we decide what platform is the right one for a business? There's a lot of different platforms out there, and some people will come to me and they're like, I want to be on all of them. And I'll be like, I don't advise you to be on all of them. Which ones are you either good at, or where are your audience hanging out? And a lot of times, even if they insist, I'll set it all up, but we do usually end up narrowing it down to just a few. So some ways to think about this: Facebook. If you're on, if you want to be on Instagram and have a business profile, you need to be on Facebook because they own each other. They're the same thing. So that's an automatic, and I do highly recommend that. If you're business to business, then LinkedIn is definitely where you want to be. If you're YouTube, if a lot of your content is video based, you're either teaching, you're a consultant of some kind, and you like talking on cameras and being in front of video, then I do suggest doing a YouTube because a lot of our content nowadays is very video driven. Pinterest, if you have, I'm trying to think if there's any necessarily businesses in here, that would be maybe your online store, whatever the retail is. Bakery, yep. If you're able to ship internationally, or even not, you can still pin it to certain locations. Snapchat is really like the next generation. Those are the teeny boppers that are all, Snapchatting and don't communicate with humans anymore. I don't really recommend businesses being on that too much unless they have a dedicated social media person that is really the face and can be out there doing that. So that's kind of an overview. Another aspect to look at is, and these are some questions to ask, who is your audience? So if you guys don't mind this being interactive, if I can call in a couple of you, who would like to volunteer who their audience is before I just pick on someone? Sure.
Photographer.
Say it again.
Photographer.
Photographer, you're a photographer? Okay. Do you have a specific niche, either like families or weddings or anything like that?
Wedding.
Weddings yours? Okay. So your ideal audience is going to be engaged couples. Fair enough. Okay. Who is your ideal client? Now, we can dig a little bit deeper into this using the same example. Your ideal client is going to be somebody who wants to pay you, not somebody who's looking for like a favor, right? So you decide, you set your prices out, and when you set your prices, then you're going to frame your ideal client. So you decide how much are you worth, how much is your time worth, and then those are going to be the types of clients you want, because not everybody's going to have, some people have a Kim Kardashian budget, some people have your sister down the street budget. So you're going to find that that money bracket, that income bracket, and you're going to focus on that. Where do they hang out? Bridal shop. Those you always see them at the NRG. The what are they called? Bridal expos. All those different events. Pinterest. All the girls are on Pinterest making their wedding boards. I've been there. And then what other brands do they follow? So you're probably going to see like huge wedding photographers. If you go on Instagram, you can find the ones that the celebrities follow, or the ones that are shooting celebrity weddings. But why do I say that? Because all of us are following them too. And we can't probably afford that photographer, but you can kind of generate and see who's interacting and kind of build an audience that way. What are some problems they have? Well, in your case, they need their wedding documented. So they're going to be looking for somebody who has a good portfolio, somebody who has good reviews. Reviews are a big thing. So whenever you work with a client, and that goes for all businesses, you really want to make sure your clients are reviewing. And a trick, you know how they always say fake it till you make it? You can only fake so much, but what you can do is ask your friends or family if you do a free shoot for them, if you do any sort of free service for them. If you bring cupcakes to the family reunion, okay, now everybody has to write me a review if you want to eat a review if you want to eat this cupcake. So just finding people to write reviews, because the millennial generation, which is my generation, you guys are right on the tail of that, is we're very review driven, and we're very influenced by other people's opinions. And then of course you ask the question, how do I help solve this problem, this client's problem, or potential client's problem? Somebody needs a cake for an event. That's as simple as that may be. You're solving that problem because they need it, somebody recommends it. Retail, you're selling something that somebody needs. So these are all things to think about when you're going into social media, when you're building out your brand, when you're building out your content. Any questions so far? Okay. So let's start with Facebook. And as I said before, I'd like to make this interactive. Would anybody like to volunteer their Facebook page for me to look at while we're here and use it as an example? I promise I will not embarrass you. Yes? Perfect. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull up Facebook. And what is the name of your page?
You want my personal page or a business?
Do you have a business page?
Yes.
Okay, what's that?
You can do the Monarch School.
Mon
Monarch.
with the CH?
A-R-C.
Like the
There you go, the
butterfly.
first one right there, Monarch School.
Okay.
We already posted this.
You already posted today?
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. All right, so we're going to take a look at this page. Do you mind telling me a little bit about this before I dive in so I can understand it?
Yeah, so, and I help another small business. I don't know if you want a small business page.
Whichever you
So
prefer.
we're here, so this whole row here in the back, we're from the Monarch School and Institute.
Okay.
We have some students here that are in our marketing class.
Oh, perfect.
And so she's the marketing teacher.
No pressure. I didn't need to know that. Just kidding. Go ahead.
And so we're basically trying to give them outside resources because they handle all of our marketing, but while learning it, but we're not nearly as advanced as we should.
Okay. That's perfect.
But
Okay.
it's private nonprofit school for people with neurological differences.
Okay. All right. So this is good. So right away you see that she's very well branded with her butterflies, right? So we understand that's the Monarch School and Institute. Things we're going to look at. How many of you, when you're either hiring a service or you're looking somebody up, you go to Facebook to like get their credibility? Does anybody else do that, or am I the only one? Okay, a couple of you do that. So this is where somebody's going to come, and most likely you're going to check to see if there's a phone number. website information, anything like that, you're going to come to the About page and see if they have this filled out. So a lot of times Facebook makes changes to this page, so there will be new additions that you can add in here. So you have your mission, you have a website, so a lot of people want to look to check their website as well. You're going to go to the About page, kind of just get a glance at here. Another thing, and I don't see that you guys have this turned on, you'll want to go in the backside and have somebody turn your reviews on. So that way there will be a tab here that says reviews, and then people can write recommendations, and you can hear from either families that have experienced your school. Let's see.
Go in the backside.
Go in the backside. So I can show you what the backside looks like, and we'll go in the backside of. We'll use my fitness one for a second. So you see here. Let's see. I don't really need reviews on this page. So, but you'll go back in here, and this is where you can turn all of that on. And let me see if I can find it on the spot.
It's hard to find.
Yeah, look, once you get in the backside, it's really hard. Let me go to one of my other pages that I know has reviews on. Actually, socially branded media. So this one has reviews. So this one here is where you can see 5 out of 5 stars. And it's going to be under settings. It's going to be under page setup. But go in there, and that's where you can add reviews. You can, of course, have this number book now. We're going to go back to Monarch so we can keep going through that, using them as an example. Monarch. So that would be one suggestion that I have. There's also, actually, let me open 2 tabs. So I can show you kind of some other things. So this, it's probably not showing because you haven't filled it out, but there's another spot right here where you can add some more information. So at a glance, you can do your About page. So whoever's on that page, they can go in the back, and there's going to be an empty window spot that only you can see, but there's another opportunity for people to learn about you right here. Of course, you can do a video cover photo, so if you guys have any events and you have somebody come out like a photographer and do some videos, you can make a nice video cover for the top of your page. Okay. Of course, Facebook will always show other recommendations here. Taking a look at your content, you have this pinned post. Very cool. We're going to give that a like. Yes, sir. No,
Who created your video cover?
A guy at the gym. I don't know. I mean, I do know who it was, but he just did it for fun. But pretty much any photographers that do any sort of video element can do that. And actually, if you look at it, it's really just a slideshow with text. So it looks like it kind of gives the impression of a video, but it's really just a slideshow with well done text that keeps moving and some lighting effect. So you got a lot of shares, you got a lot of good content here. So very, very well done. There's just a couple little things that you can add to it to make it more current. I would suggest also using events whenever you guys have events. That's another good way for you to get out.
When we use events, there's a lot, because on business pages it can show you how many people have seen it, and then if you boost it, it shows you the organic but events, it's always very low views.
Okay. There's the thing about Facebook, which is actually kind of frustrating, because when I first started my Facebook page, it was quite a few years ago now, it was easy to grow a page. It was super easy, but Facebook makes so much money off of you spending money on boosts and growth and ads that they favor the people who spend the money. So it's good to have it just there, because the more you use it, if you share it to your website or other spaces, it's still good to create it even if there's low views on it. But I do suggest that. Yes, sir.
Do you think there's blowback from their problems, Facebook's problems about
Privacy?
Yeah.
I just watching Mark Zuckerberg's presentation on privacy, and although they claim to be super private and things like that, they have things like the pixel and retargeting and things like that, that no matter how many of you have like ever had a conversation with a friend about some product and then it literally shows up on your Facebook the next day? So you tell me how, yes, so you tell me how private it is. Facebook's not going to take that away because that's ad targeting. So
is there blowback against your small business because of that?
no, no, I don't think so. Let's see, one of the other things, so does anybody here, you do something like insurance or any direct sales person to person that you would sell either like life insurance or I'm trying to think what else, maybe you're a coach of some kind. Does anybody do that? Okay, we're going to talk about it anyways because as you guys are in school, you may come across this, but I want to talk about your personal profile for just a minute. So because I'm a social media person, people are always going to come look up my personal profile first. So there's a couple different views, and if you look at your phone, if you go on your phone and you pull up a Facebook profile, there's an opportunity for you to write a little blurb about who you are and what you do. Some people use it to write something fun and creative. I have my talk show, so I'm using this little blurb right here, this intro. So I empower women to share their story, gain confidence, and use challenges as fuel to pursue their dreams. So it's empowering women through fitness. How many of you can tell I work out by just this first page? Yeah? So you can tell that I'm in some sort of fitness world. My show is called Empowering Women Through Fitness, and it's well branded for my talk show. So what you're not going to see is any political posts. You're not going to see any cat posts. You're not going to see any viral videos. All you're going to see is content that is completely related to what I do. So when you are either graduating from college and you're starting to look for a job, I suggest going through your social media, taking down the party photos, taking down the political posts, unless you're a political science major or something like that. But if you really want to get a good job, if you want people to just respect you, and trust me, I have had plenty of days where I want to post a political post and just put my opinion out there. But truth be told, I'm not going to change somebody's mind by commenting snotty on their photos. So I just take a deep breath and I walk away and ignore it. So if you're, and I'm not saying to not have an opinion, but yes, sir.
I want to finish your thought.
Oh, I'm not saying to not have an opinion on political posts, but if you are selling something, if you have a business, or if you're trying to get a job, I do suggest avoiding that, at least in that time frame when people are looking at your profile, and especially if it's super controversial. Yeah.
So if you're trying to build a community, because I want to move to speaking eventually.
Yeah.
I've read about how you balancing the post, because not always. It's like you provide almost like the freemium. You're providing content, but you're also showing a personal aspect of it.
Yeah.
With the balance of that.
So I try to insert that in mine. So I just posted a bunch, and this lady tagged me on hers. So let's see. My show's weekly, so I will post pictures of my son. So that's probably about the most personal. This was on Mother's Day. That's probably about as personal as I get. Maybe once in a while, like an anniversary, I'm not much for posting about relationships on Facebook. But yes, I do think a combination, because I've seen some businesses where even though it's a coach, all you see is content. All you see is content, and you're like, well, who in the world is creating this content? And people want to have an element of trust. So when moms see that I have a son, they see that they can relate to me in that way. I'm not just some fitness model, that I also have a son, or if I ever post about some of the challenges I've gone through or share my story, that makes you relatable. So you do want to have that element in there where you're being relatable. Yes, sir.
What gym do you use?
My home.
Good
answer. I've actually not had a gym membership in about a year. So I used to be really hardcore, and I did all the competitions and things like that. And it kind of psychologically messes with you after a while because you have these extreme standards. So I took a break from the gym, and then I just work out at home now. So I almost had to reinvent it.
So is there like a kind of a balance and rotation like cycle that you use as far as balancing in what part is content, what is my professional, what is my personal, like about, or is it just
a percentage?
Yeah.
There's not. I don't know if there's a magic number, and you'll probably get a lot of different opinions on that.
What's your
My opinion, I try to post, like, especially with my show right now, I've been posting a lot of that, so that kind of gets repetitive, but I have different guests every week, so that's why I've been posting about it a lot. I like to do it every at least 3 to 4 post something personal. And even if it's a fitness picture, I will write something personal about it than just a silly quote. I try to be more relatable in that sense, where I'm actually writing something meaningful than just a silly quote. Now, once in a while, like, I'll be brain dead and I can't think of anything, so I'll just do something silly. But people like to see that side too, where you're not constantly serious and you also can have some fun. Okay, so let me jump. Yes.
So, what about the people that sometimes tag you? Do you have it set to where you have to like approve?
Yes,
You know how like
absolutely.
It's like, oh, maybe there's like a reunion for your university or
I highly suggest having all tags approved. And a lot of times, if somebody's like, "Can you please promote this or whatever," I'll put it on my Facebook, but I will go back and hide it later after the event's over or after the thing is passed. I'll go back and hide it. And actually, there's a couple things in here that I've been meaning to hide. And I'll post multiple times about my show, but after the guest is over, I'll go back and remove some of those just so it's not so cluttered. This is my brother's song, if anybody like music. So I'll leave that. But this one I wanted to hide. So you can hide it, but it'll still appear in your timeline. So if she ever goes to see it, she won't see that I hit her tag or anything like that. This one, a lot of times I like to control how I share my information. So yesterday, a photographer tagged me in a photo shoot that I did, and it was like a really cool photo, but I didn't want to just put it on my timeline and be how everybody sees it. So I hid it, and I allowed him to tag me, but I hid it from my timeline, and then I go post it myself. So yes, I do suggest you do that. Okay. Scheduling feature. Who uses a scheduling feature on their Facebook page? Okay, perfect. Does anybody know? Did anybody not know that it was there? Okay, let's real quickly. Did you have a question?
Can you do it from your phone? I can only see it on the
Yes, you can. You have to download the Pages app. Yeah. So let's see. Let me go to one of my pages. So from your post, and I'm not going to have a photo to post, but we can just do this. You go into the share now, and you're going to schedule, and then you just pick a date, and then pick a time, and then you hit schedule. So that makes it a lot easier because a lot of people complain I don't have time to do content. Do it all in one day. I do all my content for my clients on Mondays.
So what about optimal posting times? Because I've heard about that.
Yeah, there's optimal posting times. You can get apps. I mean, it depends on how stressed out or how complicated you want to make it. Some posts is better than no post. But there are definitely apps. You can go in your backside, read your analytics, and they're going to say this is when your people are watching, or these are when your followers are online. Instagram does that. Facebook does that. You can go look at your analytics. If you use an app scheduling software like Hootsuite or something similar to that, they will have, you can do auto schedule, and they will kind of do that for you. But there's plenty of apps and things that you can use to do that. Yes?
one of the things I'm confused about with Hootsuite, because that's what I use,
Yeah.
is I post simultaneously to Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, but I often wonder if I need to do Instagram, because if you have your Instagram and Facebook linked, doesn't it automatically update on Instagram?
No, not from Facebook. So I always, whenever you post on Instagram, it goes Instagram to Facebook. It's not usually the other way around.
It's not Facebook.
Yeah. So just add that as an account and just include it in there, and then make sure you add your hashtags. Sometimes I will do, hashtags on Instagram. So we'll get into that in a little bit. So, okay, let's move right along. Invite people to follow your page. How many of you know how to do that? You can do a mass invite. And let me see. Oh yeah, leave this page. I always feel like it's weird to see someone else's social media. Like, oh, who are these weird people they follow? Let's see. Settings, if I can find it. So invite friends, you go to the invite friends spot. And this is easier because usually you have to go in and do everybody. You can see who likes it. But I'm always making new friends. So I'm just gonna do select all. And this takes a minute, and then it'll tell me how many people don't like my page. And I can just send them invites. So we all get those pages, those notifications. Bridget wants you to like her page, so I just annoyed a whole bunch of people. 1,000 of them. Okay, let's move along a little bit. And a lot of times it helps to post. People want to post. You get more traffic on your personal page. That's just how it's going to be because Facebook, it's free. You can't boost anything on your personal page. So a lot of people want to post their content there for that is really business content instead of posting it on their page because I'll get a lot more likes on my personal profile than I will on my page because Facebook wants me to pay for it. However, I do recommend you post it on your business page if it's business related, and then share it to your profile because that way you can still get people to like your page. Yes, ma'am.
I know we're talking about Facebook, but does not Instagram, but LinkedIn, do they have the scheduling on that?
I actually don't know. I use Hootsuite, so I've never looked into LinkedIn. We're going to jump into LinkedIn at the end if we have time, so I'll look at that feature when we get there. So you guys know the difference between profiles and pages. So the profiles is where you're going to have your personal page, but I do recommend filling out that bio. So when you go on your Facebook page, your personal one, if you do not have your bio filled out and you're a business owner or business anything, I do recommend filling that out. Even if you want to just put I'm a really fun and cool person, that works. Let's see. Again, back to the professional thing. If you are transitioning into professional phase, make sure your profile picture reflects what you do. I hate group pictures because if I don't know you and you're sending me a friend request, I don't know which one's which. So always have yourself or a spouse or something like that. Don't post your kid and pet pictures because I don't care about that either. Having an appropriate Facebook cover page. And when you're doing videos, I do suggest it's tempting to just post your YouTube link because you want to get all the views on your YouTube. But I do suggest posting your videos directly to your page. It just looks better if you post a YouTube video. It's not going to pop up, and you really want the video to start playing in people's news feeds. On Facebook, content that is either pictures or videos is going to do a lot better than just text. So avoid just text posts and use videos and photos. Okay. How to build your page audience. Everyone wants to know this. There are some tactics that I've used, and I always test things out on mine to use a paid audience. There's depending on what your business is and what your model is, it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. And we're going to get into that in a little bit more once we talk about Instagram. But another thing I want to talk, let's see. We already used examples, so we're going to skip that. We're going to show you a little bit of the ads manager just because it gets super complicated and I don't want to overwhelm you. But this is the ads manager, the business manager that runs all the Facebook ads and Instagram. So when I say you have to have a business account on Instagram and your Instagram has to link to Facebook, that's so you can run ads on Instagram. So this can get really complicated, so we're just going to spend a little bit of time here. But when you create an ad, there's a lot of different types of ads. So now, before we jump into that, how many of you have ever boosted a post? Okay, I hate to break it to you, but boosting a post is a waste of money. Yep. So it is a waste of money, and here's why. All you're doing is Facebook must make millions and millions and millions off of people who are uneducated about this. Sure, it'll get you more visibility, it'll get you more likes, but that's it. It's not telling people to do anything other than like your posts. Like if I boosted a post, all I do is see it 10 times. And like when you go on Facebook, you don't want to see it over and over and over, but it's just retargeting to the same people. So boosting a post is a complete waste of time. So you actually want to spend, not waste of time, waste of money. So you actually want to create an ad. But here's the challenge with creating an ad. There's so many different types that you really have to know what kind of ad you're creating and what your purpose of your ad is for. So there's a couple different examples. Brand awareness is just getting your name out there. That's getting in front of people, getting out so more people see your brand and kind of start to remember it. Reach is kind of along the same things. You can of course narrow these audiences down to a bunch of different criteria. Traffic is to getting people to come to your page. Come to your page. Engagement is getting them to interact. And Facebook does all these weird things behind the scenes to make people do these actions. App installs, that if somebody owns an app company, they want you to install it. Video views is just simply to get more video views. That's all it is. Lead generation, and that's usually the one most businesses want, is lead generation. But with lead generation, you have a call to action, and then you're sending them somewhere. And most people just put their website, depending on what your service or your ad product is or what you're trying to get people to come to. For lead generation, you really want a specific designated landing page. If you've heard of ClickFunnels, there's a bunch of other ones. It can get super complicated. And this is where most business owners get overwhelmed and usually hire this part out because it's a lot to learn. So there's a lot of different kinds of different ads. So before you just go boost a post, like really consider what you're trying to accomplish and consider doing an ad first. And of course, if we go into it, there's like so many different things that you can do. Actually, I'm not going to go into it because it can get really complicated and there's so many different aspects of it. Within Ads Manager, you also have your pixel. So that, who knows what the pixel is? Is anybody familiar with the pixel? The pixel is what people put on their website. So it's like this hidden little magic thing that once you go to this website, how many of you have ever noticed you start seeing ads for that product or page everywhere, right? So if you ever go, say I went to look at golf balls at Dick's Sporting Goods on my computer, I'm going to start seeing those ads on my Instagram. I'm going to see them on Facebook, wherever there's an ad, even on websites. People put a pixel on your page, and again, it kind of goes back to the privacy thing where it's like, I really don't believe in privacy. It follows you around. So that's called retargeting. So once you click that link, and you can do this with realtors, do this. I have a client that we're basically getting people to click a link so we can retarget them with more ads. So that's kind of how it works. So everybody has a pixel. It's in your back ads manager. You put that on your website, and that helps you create an audience. So an audience is the people, obviously, that we're marketing to. And there's a whole nother level of creating audiences as well. So you can create lookalike audiences. So say we put that pixel on your website, everybody who clicks on it, we're basically going to go find a whole bunch of people just like that person. So they set up the demographic for us. We create a lookalike audience, and then we go target. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that it just kind of blows your mind once you get into it. So do we have any more questions about Facebook? Yeah, go ahead. No? Any more questions about Facebook before we keep rolling? Yes.
What's better, Facebook ad or Google ads?
They both. I have clients that have both. You generally want to have both. Google is really going to be what helps you get up in the rankings, and I'll just talk real briefly about SEO, because there's three areas where people get scammed in: websites, SEO people, and social media people. There's a lot of people that come out, charge you all the money, and then don't do anything, or make a lot of promising claims. SEO is definitely one of those people. If they say they can get your page to the top of the list within 6 months or something like that, red flags. So Google already says if you're a new domain, it's going to take over a year for you to even appear on the first page. And the way you even get on the first page is having tons of content, lots of credible sources, meaning people are actually going to your website, buying from your website, getting positive reviews. Google is a good place to do AdWords. That's like a whole nother beast. So when you're doing a marketing budget, you do want to have allocations for both.
All right. So back to boosting
Yeah.
the pictures or videos on Instagram. You said it's not good, but if it's bringing more traffic to your website, wouldn't it be good?
You're not necessarily bringing. How many times have you ever looked at a picture, just a picture, and gone to a website?
Well, it shows on the inside, like if I boost one picture and let's say I spend $10 a day for that picture, give me insight and say I got 14 visits to my website from that picture.
If you have your website linked to the picture and you're maybe in your text doing a call to action, then that might work. There, you're going to get a lot more visibility, but if you were to run an ad asking people to go to your website or leading them to your website, you may have better results for $10 a day.
And I do that on Facebook, not Instagram, right?
You can do it on both. Yeah. Once you're inside the ads, there's a spot to do Facebook. You can do, Instagram. You can do Instagram stories. Like, you know how when you're doing Instagram stories and you see an ad, you can buy that space. You can buy scrolling space. I think that's only 2 spaces. Stories and in your newsfeed. I would just run a comparison because there's ads that are designed to get you people to go to your website, and then boosting is just for people to see it over and over.
And it's the people that follow me already, or
Yeah.
is it new?
Yeah, you can set it up both ways. People that, you would have to look at it, but so there's some variation there, but again, it's just not the most effective way, in my opinion, to spend your marketing budget. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Regarding Facebook, if I found where my clients hanging out, can I go and invite them? Let's say you do fitness. If you go to 24-hour fitness and you find some clients, can you invite them to see your website? Or I don't know.
In person or on Facebook?
On Facebook.
On Facebook? You to invite somebody to, I'm pretty sure they would have to be your friend first. Or you would just have to invite them to follow. Usually it's just invite friends. I haven't tried inviting people that I'm not friends with.
Because it's a business. Here it's saying, let me see, you say where your clients hanging out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you find them, how can you get them to follow you?
That's a good question. So there's a couple different ways people suggest. And one of the huge changes, how many of you noticed Facebook totally changed its look? It's now more of a white background. It's completely different layout. Not layout, but they freshened everything up. They're really trying to drive groups. So there's a lot of groups I'm in, and that's where Facebook wants to create more of that community. So, for example, I would suggest finding groups that are in your industry, and there's like a social etiquette. So you're not going to be like, hey, follow me, because people are just going to ignore you, skip you, block you, whatever. In a group, you want to become the expert. And you don't want to do it in like a bossy way, but if someone says, and sometimes it's frustrating because you see 40 comments, you're like, forget it. But dropping a comment, encouraging people and being interactive is gonna, it's a very organic way to grow followers, but it does help. So finding groups that are in your industry, going to them, being a team player, interacting, being an expert in your industry, sharing tips, and without asking for anything in return is really going to be how you build a community online. And then if people ask you or say, hey, can I send you a DM? Then that's kind of your opportunity. But people want to, even with social media, people still want to build up that trust with you. Which also brings me to DMs. Don't send me DMs about your MLM and your hot business idea and how you only need 20 more people so you can go on a cruise. This does not work. Yes, sir.
For B2B, is Facebook good for B2B?
Yes, and it is, but LinkedIn's better in a sense. We'll talk about that. And that's where I do say have your personal profile set up like a business, not a business, but like saying what you do and kind of being like I had to let go of my Facebook profile to be in a family of fun, silly Facebook profile. When I decided to be a professional, I just was like, okay, I have a Bridget Romo one that's for my mom and dad, and I just post pictures of my kids. But this Facebook profile is just for a professional look. So yes, even if you have a business that's not business to business, if you're a business owner or trying to create a presence on social media, I suggest you have your whole profile be as if you were trying to do business to business.
So with the advertising, when you're building an audience, is there any way to filter out like how to leverage that to be more specific to B2B? Like, I don't know if I'm making sense. Like, cause I see it seems like it's very individual based. And I see where you're saying I'm talking about the groups.
Mm-hmm.
But like if I was trying to.
Can you give me an example of what business you're thinking?
Okay, so like web development and IT.
Okay.
So like say I'm trying to do architect firms.
Okay.
Trying to contact architect firms. Where I basically build I guess an audience around architects.
Yeah. Or lookalike or. Good. Yeah, you could. Well. You would. There's a spot in there where you can follow like people who follow this page or things like that. If you're trying to do architects, most people may not be looking for. You said web development.
Well, the thing about it is, the architect is cool, but I don't need them. I need the decision makers.
Yeah, then you want to be on LinkedIn. I would much rather suggest you to be on LinkedIn doing that than Facebook. Okay, are we good on Facebook? Everyone's confused, but we're gonna move on. Okay, Instagram. Who all has an Instagram account? Who likes Instagram more than Facebook? Me. I like Instagram more than Facebook because the political posts I can go like this and I never see them again. There's nobody, like, you really have to take the time to write me an angry comment on Instagram, and people still do it, but it's just not as easy as Facebook. So Instagram to me is much more peaceful. It's more of a happy place. Lots of pretty pictures, and I happen to do some shopping there, so there's a lot of positive things about Instagram. Okay, so creating an Instagram account, and I can use some examples on here, but Instagram on the internet is not the same as on the phone, so we'll use as much as we can. So it's going to look a little bit different. So your Instagram profile, again, it's going to be like your Facebook. You're going to want to show off what is it that you do right on the top of the description. So you're going to have empowering women through fitness. That's what I do. I'm a talk show host. So how do I say it? Social media is my jam. And then spreading confidence through fitness and fun. And instead of linking to my website, I actually just have people linking to my Empowering Women Through Fitness Facebook group. Part of branding is having these are story highlights. So I like to do stories on Instagram more than Facebook. We didn't talk about stories on Facebook, but they're more relevant here. Having a clean look. To the point, what it is that you do, or if you're in a service industry, how it is that you serve people. I also have a social media account. It's very small because I'm usually building other people's accounts than my own. But that's where I post about more of the social media thing and what I'm doing there. So this is more of like probably, I guess, my fitness one, my modeling or whatever. Yes, sir.
How do you make your story look like that? Like
the icons? Okay. So in order to do that, I use a very, very cool website called Canva. It's free. It's free. They do have, of course, an upgraded version. Canva. And I have no idea what my login is, but we'll take it. Here we go. Let's try. Okay. That's grabbing some all my dents. Oh, yeah, this is. I must have more than one. So you can do create a design, and let's see. Nope, it's everything. Well, you can do Instagram stories. So you're going to want to create an Instagram story, and then what you can do is just start from blank, and an element. I don't know what this is, but you're just going to do something like this, and background. Oops. Well, that's not very pretty. But you can change this, and let's do white. Something like that. And just kind of center it. You're going to download it and then upload it to your story. And then it just sits there for a long time. And
you do it on your phone or on the computer?
You do it on your phone. Sorry. Let me think. Let me click on one of them. So when I do it, it's just going to be all of my photo shoots, and then you'll do, oops, I don't want to delete that. There's the option where you have on your story, let me see if I can do it from here. I baked cookies yesterday. It's not on the computer, but there's an option that says highlight if you're doing a story after you've posted your story. If you look at it in the bottom corner, there's a spot that says highlight, and then you can start creating your boards. But if you have to put them all on, they have to be there for 24 hours, and then you can go back and add them, and then you just edit it to be at the cover of your highlight.
You can actually, they added this feature where you can just click add to cover on highlight on your phone.
So you don't have to wait anymore?
You don't have to post it.
Oh, well,
So like you can literally go here and then more, and then you can just
perfect.
Edit highlight and then edit cover.
Perfect. That's good to know because I have not updated my stories in a while, or my highlights. Okay, so where were we? So create a username, use it. I would say if you're trying to do something professional, keep your username simple. So don't have like crazy cat underscore 999663, or have just really long extensions that don't make sense, because actually you want to have all of your Facebook page, your Instagram, and everything be as cohesive as possible. So I have a brand called Equity. It's not my brand, I work on it, but it's called Equity Movement 24/7. And first it was just the Equity Movement, and then the web designer made the website Equity Movement 24/7. So like, that doesn't make sense. So I went back and I changed all of the accounts so everything's easy. So usually, if you ever hear a professional say they're like, I'm Jane Doe on everything, it makes it super easy. So when you're doing it, even on Facebook, if I have Facebook up still, let me show you the page. Actually, it's right here. So this right here, Bridget Trees Fitness, like that's where you can change your handle. And actually, I need to change that. You're gonna do Bridget Trees. My Instagram is Bridget Trees Official. So I just need to. I'm debating on what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna rename that page if I'm going to. So here it's Bridget Trees Official. And you can change this actually at any time. Instagram apparently doesn't have any issues with you changing your name on Instagram, and you don't lose any followers or anything for doing that. Okay, let's see what else we got. Add your bio, website, contact information. Okay, so when you're a business page, you're able to add, oh, it's not going to show it that way. Well, you know how when you're looking at a business page and it shows email, call, text, you want to turn that on your account if you're going to have a business. Yeah, the unfortunate thing, and I can't show you from the phone, but if you go into your settings, let me see. You go into your settings, and then you have account. Under account, you have the option to change it to a business page. And when you do that, it's going to ask you to link it with your Facebook page. And you have to be an admin on the Facebook page in order for that to work. And the reason you do that is so that people can easily contact you by the click of a button. And I'll give you an example. I mean, you can't really see it, but you have these 3 buttons right here that are like message, contact, call. So if you're a business where you want people to contact you, you want to make it as easy as possible for them to reach out to you. Okay, branding and Instagram. Let me see. For one of the cool things I noticed that Canva does now, and I think I have multiple Canva accounts now that I realize I just logged in this one. One of the things they do now, see if they have it here. Let me see. Oh, maybe it's on the first page. Oh, they have a brand kit. So this is kind of cool because you can start setting up, like, what are your brand colors? What are your fonts? And you want to be real consistent about using these across all your platforms. But this is just kind of a fun space to play where you can kind of set that up and then use that consistently. So when you're making graphics in Canva or doing anything like that, you can be consistent across the board. So let's see if we can take a look at some Instagram accounts. I know I posted some examples in here. So let's look at BC Dolls for a second. This is just a clothing brand. They're not going to, this is a good example of course, a well-curated Instagram account. It's very professional. Of course, they have their blue check mark, which we can talk about. They have all of their very clean look. this isn't not the example I wanted for. It's a good example of branding and having a good layout. Let's try this one. So here is a life coach. So she's well branded. So she's got an expert life. She's an expert life coach, business and relationship, whatever featured in. So if you have things to brag about them. She's got a good following. She's well branded here, so you don't have to do icons. You can do words. That looks nice and clean. But what I liked about hers is her consistent posting pattern. So this is like her Instagram board, and she's got pictures of. I mean, she always looks happy, and then she also has these icons or these quote cards. So quotes are a good way to fill up space if you don't have a lot of content. So a lot of times as an influencer or somebody who uses their image a lot, it's hard to create a lot of content because you really just have to shoot all the time. So like these Instagram models who have these perfect lives, they're just constantly shooting and creating these images. It's not real, it's fake. Tried it.
Can you make those quote on Canva too?
Yes. Canva's brilliant. There's so much you can do on Canva. So
you gotta pay for it.
There's different levels to play for it. They always have free. Like if you if you look at a design, there's right on these corners you'll see if it says free or not. So that's free for that goes for backgrounds. These are templates you can use. So you can change this. Put your own phone number. So those are nice and you can change a lot of the colors too. So those are nice if you're not a good graphic designer and you want to create graphics. So yes, it just says free, or else sometimes they're $1 and you just check out to download it. You just download it up here. I've cheated the system, but I'm not going to tell you how. Yeah. Screenshots. But I don't suggest it. I'm actually debating on paying for the. I don't know. The thing that drives me nuts is everything's a freaking subscription nowadays, and I'm like, I don't need to $10 myself to death. So I'm, especially as a social media agency person, there's a lot of different softwares I have to pay for, so I always have to pick and choose.
Do you use Over?
What's Over? I do not.
It's kind of like similar to Canva, but if you're gonna be doing quotes and things like that. It's free. It's an app, so.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so let's talk. Well, let me see. Let's go back up because I skipped a few sites. Okay, so posting consistency. So posting consistently is really going to be one of those key things that help you to build your brand, build your account, developing a posting pattern. And not everything has to be an actual pattern. You can post in threes if you want. You can post with quotes. I do think it looks cohesive if you try to have the same color screen. So one way to do that is filters. So always using the same filter if you're posting photos. And at the end of the slide, I have a list of resources that you guys can use for all these. But using the same filters is really going to help you create that cohesiveness and that look-alike. Developing a color scheme, yes.
Are you sharing the slide deck?
Huh?
Are you sharing the slide deck?
Yes. Yeah. Phyllis. Developing a 30, and I encourage you to do so. And I can show you what keep interjecting. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. For the hashtags,
Yes.
you said that you recommended 30 of them on each post.
I believe it's up to 30 that you can do per post.
And how many do you recommend per post?
I do all of them. I use as many as I can because I might as well. Okay. Yeah. And I'll show you a trick to do that in just a minute. Okay. Use videos because videos work well on Instagram. IGTV videos. And this is a way you can post longer content. It's not going to replace YouTube by any means, but it's where you can post longer content. And you have the option now of it showing up in your storyboard or your main page, or you can just have it as your IGTV. Let me see if there's the IGTV. Like I said, it's so different on the computer. Yeah, you can't even see IGTV on here yet. So let me go back to the sides because it's not fun to watch somebody else work out. Okay, so IGTV, so you can do up to 10 minutes and 50 seconds. I Googled that this morning, so that should be current. That you can, like I said, you can either have it in your what's it called? Your storyboard, not your story. Well,
Your highlights?
Your main page, your main wall, like your profile, whatever. I don't know why I'm blanking on that. But what it does is it says when it gets to 60 seconds and it's about to go into the next phase, it just says click here to continue watching. So that's pretty cool, and it has a little IGTV icon so people know that it's on your IGTV. I used to put them in my story, but then it kind of like messed up my flow, so I just post them right directly to IGTV. That's a great way to utilize a longer video content. So like sometimes you see those people who talk for 20 minutes on their IG stories. I'm just like, don't do that. Just create a video and post it in your IGTV or on your wall. We'll call it a wall. Photo and quotes posts. Those are obviously another type of content to use. Obviously, photos and quotes. You see people that do the real cool photos where it goes across like 7 posts. Those are cool, but unless you're consistently posting at the same time, that photo's gonna get all chopped up. So there's a time and a place for it, but that doesn't necessarily always make the best consistent content. Adding hashtags in locations. Locations, I always recommend adding your locations to your photos when you're posting. Let me see if I were to click this, it's going to ask for, yeah, I might not even be able to do it from here. Yeah, I can't. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes you can post from here, but it doesn't like you to. But add your location because people search by location. So whenever I have a client that that's in New Mexico, so I don't necessarily know people in New Mexico. So what I'm going to do is go type in his city into the Instagram search bar, and everybody who's ever posted a picture in that city, I can see if there are other businesses, and then that's a great way for me to follow other businesses or follow people in that area. So I always post your city or a spot nearby. Whenever you're posting your photos, quotes, same thing. Of course, your hashtags, and don't be the person that writes sentences and hashtags. Like, that's not cool anymore. So whenever it's like hashtag happy, hashtag mothers happy mother, like just don't speak in hashtag. Just put what you're gonna say in there. If it's funny, like it makes sense, like hashtag spilled my drink or something like that, where it's like at the end or you're just trying to emphasize something, then that works. Like, be clever with it, but don't just, like, some people still write in hashtag sentences and it drives me crazy because it's really difficult to read and you don't want your posts to be like that. Research and follow hashtags. Did you know you can follow hashtags? So that is one of the cool ways to, I'm trying to think of some that I follow. Like when I was going to go to San Francisco, I followed San Francisco hashtags so that I could get ideas of what to do or places to eat. I follow, if I get a new client and they're in a specific industry, I'll follow that industry hashtags for a while just to see what other people are doing. But it's a great way to kind of just stay on top and see what's relevant. If you're consistently using the same hashtags or you're kind of posting the same content consistently, if you don't have an app and you've kind of spent the time to go through and see how many times the hashtag is used. So if you're ever typing in a hashtag, it's going to pop up in Instagram. And it will tell you how many times that has been used. Usually people are like, oh, I'm going to use all the ones that have been used a million times. Well, here's the problem when doing that. If you have 200 followers and you're doing a hashtag that's been used a million times, you're probably not going to be seen. So you want to use actually hashtags that are, use a couple that are real specific to what you're doing, but then use more of the broader ones. And there's mixed opinions on this, but people say to use the ones that are in like the 200,000 to 500,000 times used range. So don't necessarily always go for like hashtag fitness model because that's been used way too many times and you're probably not going to appear on the explore page. So let's talk about that real quick. And I don't know if, yes, this is the explore page. See, the explore page is where all the viral content is right now. So it'll be based on who you follow and what your accounts you're interested in or what your interests are. But these are all the people whose posts did extremely well within 15 minutes of them posting them. So a trick, if you post something and you have a relatively good amount of following or people that will interact with your content right away, stay there. And I used to think it was tacky to respond to somebody right away, like you're sitting there waiting for responses, but actually Instagram likes that. So if it sees that you're engaging people and you're engaging with comments, even if it's like, oh my god, cool photo, and you're always going to get the robots, especially depending on the hashtags you use, but whatever, just interact with the robot and just comment back, or just like, oh my god, your Instagram is so pretty, will you sell our t-shirts, DM us right now. Like, I've seen people just respond like funny stuff to the people that are the robots that do that. But to get on the Explorer page, which is like once you get bored of your newsfeed or you get bored of your stories, this is where you come to find other cool people. This is where you people get their followings. And don't judge me right now because I don't know what half this stuff is. But that's the key to getting on that page. And once I hired a firm once to just see how they did it, and they basically managed a whole bunch of companies. It was like $700 a month. They managed tons of Instagram accounts, and when they posted, they had them all automatically comment on everybody's shit. And so I would end up on the Explorer page all the time because it would go viral within them hitting start. So people have, there's all kinds of tricks to do that, and those are real followers too. They're not like paid followers. They're not fake. So it works. It got my Instagram account really high in 1 month, but it's also a very expensive way to build your account, and you still have to have good content. They'll be like, nope, that's not gonna work. Nope, that's not gonna work. And then they would incorporate a bunch of they would find like viral posts that people posted 100 times, but they're posting it again. So there's a lot of interesting ways people grow. Using Instagram stories. So a lot of times I don't post every day. I will go a week without posting, but one of the things that has become a habit to me is posting on my stories. So if you don't have a lot of content that you can post, especially if you're an influencer or things like that, where you need the nice curated photos, stories is a perfect way to still stay relevant and keep interacting with your audience. I love stories because I get to see what JLo and A-Rod are doing on a daily basis, whereas before I never had a clue. And that's kind of the cool thing about stories is it brings you real life. Like, people get to see what I do on a daily basis. Sometimes it's boring. Sometimes maybe it's interesting. Like 2 weeks ago, I was in Wisconsin with my sister, and we went to an Amish place. So like Monday, my Instagram was all Amish people, my story, and then the next day I was like in the gallery meeting with Miss America. So like you just get to bounce around, and so it's like makes it interesting. So people get to kind of see daily, and it kind of keeps them coming back. So when you do post a photo or you do post a new content, they're there. And the Instagram stories keeps adding a lot of fun features. And I heard this yesterday that whenever they add a feature, use it, because Instagram is going to favor accounts that are using the new technology that they're putting out. Plus, they want to see how people are interacting with it. So if you want to be seen more, if you want to be relevant, use all the new things that they come out with. There's so many creative ways to do stories. You can be funny, you can be serious, you can reshare content, you can share quotes. Stories are really, a lot of times I find myself spending more time in stories than I do actually on my feed. Let's see, stories versus posts. So remember I was talking about the person who talks at the story for like 5 minutes, and it's you. I don't know about you, but if I see a story that's this long, I skip the whole thing. I'm like, I don't have time for all that. I like the stories that are about this long, where it's like 2 or 3 things for each thing. So, for example, my cookie post yesterday, I only did 2 posts about my cookies. Then the next 3 posts were about my workout, and then the next 2 posts were about my photo I posted yesterday. So I try not to do a huge long, unless it's an event where it's like, hey, you guys have been building up momentum about it. Hey, I'm going to go speak at the school today. I'm going to do this and this and this. Like, stay tuned to my stories. If like people know I'm going to an event, then I will do a lot longer of a session. If it's day-to-day stuff, I usually like to keep my stories, each story, to 2 to 3 posts, if that makes sense. That makes sense? Yeah. Okay. So use stories. Again, and back. Go ahead.
So you can control how the groupings of the stories?
I just do, like, so say I'm baking cookies, I'm only going to post like I'm only posting 2 things about it. So if I were to post like, okay, if I'm not a baker, so I'm not going to get all crazy about this. So she might post a whole recipe about it, and that makes sense. For me, it doesn't make sense because I'm not a baker. I just was hungry for cookies. So I'm more of a cookie monster. But I just posted 2 stories about my cookies, like, and I just put music to them because like it didn't really make sense for me posting cookies because I'm supposed to be eating healthy. Yes, ma'am.
A lot of times I always get confused. I don't know if I just post to the board versus a story. How do you know?
Yes. So that's kind of what I want to get into a little bit, because so if you're trying to create a professional brand, and we talked about posting personal information every once in a while. So I had this girl, and I tried to coach her on this, and I see she's still kind of making the same mistakes. So she does like custom tailoring for men's clothing. So I was like, okay, stick with that, because that's what your whole social media is. So posts like, but then like a few weeks later, I see she posted a picture of a snake by her front door. That's a great story, but that's not something you want permanently on your wall board. Does that make sense? So if it doesn't permanently represent your brand, put it in your stories. Her daughter, she was able to buy her daughter a car with the extra money she earned from doing this J Hilburn, which is like a network marketing kind of a job. That's great, because it shows that you're a successful person and you're able to buy a car with the extra money. That's relevant. The weather and it raining is not relevant to your brand. Post that in your stories. I've posted weather stories. We all probably have living in Houston, but that's not relevant to your story. So when you whatever content is permanent, make sure it's aligned with your brand. It fits with what you're trying to say in your message. Anything that is fleeting, that is in the moment, like, oh my God, we're at the movies, post that in your stories. You're at a Beyonce concert, stories. Unless you're meeting Beyonce, freaking permanent, okay? Let's see. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, it drives me nuts when I see people post like a picture that like has nothing to do with it. Oh, here's another tip. Okay. If you go on vacation, I don't want to see all of your vacation posts for the next week. So what I suggest is do the group post, the posting where you can select multiple images. Do 1 or 2 posts about your vacation and put 10 pictures in that post. Where if somebody really wants to see the vacation, they're going to sit there and swipe an angry like, and they get to see them. Your mama gets to swipe and see all your vacation photos. But you don't need to fill up your whole storyboard, your whole wall, with all of your vacation posts. So if you have one event, instead of posting a whole bunch of pictures about that event, group them together. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's talk about organic followers versus paid. How many of you got a DM that said, I can grow your followers? Pretty much everybody, right? Here's why you don't want to use it. And I'm going to show you a perfect example. And I do not know this person, so I'm not hating, but this is a reason why you do not want to buy followers. However, there's a time and a place, and I'll explain what that is. So this is Alicia Stringer, and she's kind of hashtagging the shit out of the sentence. Hopefully that's okay to say. And let's see, she's helping others create an online presence to create a legacy for her daughter. That's nice. Click to create her shortcut and message in life. So she's a success dream marketing person. So I would, if I were her, I would actually change my handle to be something like that. This does not look like success dream marketing to me, when she could brand it better than that. So how many followers do you have? 22,500 followers. Sorry, I promise I can count. 72 likes. Bought or organic?
Price, bought.
Yes, definitely bought. And I respect that she's branding, but this doesn't scream marketing professional. She's literally just putting quotes with, sometimes the font is consistent. Here it's consistent. That's not consistent. That doesn't scream marketing professional to me. And if her content is that low, she bought her followers. And that's why you don't buy followers, because if they're not going to interact with you, then you're faking it a little too hard. Okay, here's a time and a place. And actually, let's go to Discovery real quick, or to the Explore page real quick. Let's see how many followers this baby who's not even born yet has 261,000 followers, and you can tell by the amount of likes, right? That matches, that makes sense. Here's where I suggest buying followers. Miss Houston pageant is about to launch their next casting calls. They are 2,000 followers away from 10,000. Who knows what happens when you get to 10,000 followers? Swipe up. Why do you want to swipe up? She's about to do her casting call, and I said teenagers are not going to go to a website and type in an address. You want to swipe up, get them. So when you say casting call, swipe up to apply. Swipe up to apply. You want to have that visibility, because I did her stories for her pageant. Like, I was the Instagram person at the last pageant. And so I saw how many, she had 1,400 people, no, she had 4,000 people watching her stories for when the day of the pageants. That's a ton of people that are watching her stories, and that's a captive audience that's not necessarily going to the newsfeed or going to her actual profile, but they're watching her stories. If you have a swipe up in there, that makes sense. The only way she can get that is to have 10,000 followers. But check her content. She's getting like 537 likes here. Not a ton of comments. Here she's got a whole bunch. Well, that was the posting. She has enough interaction right now, way more than that other girl, right? So she's at 8,000 followers, and she has 250 likes on that basic photo right there that's not filtered, and I can't believe she posted that. So for her, it makes sense to buy 2,000 followers, just to have that simple marketing feature for her clients to swipe up. Should she buy 20,000 followers? No. But to just bump her up so she can have a better promotion, and that doesn't mean that the people she buys are going to interact with her stuff, but everybody else, those 4,000 people who are already watching her story, those people who swipe up, it's going to make sense for those people. Those are the ones we care about. We care about the people who are already watching the stories, not about the random 2,000 people from India we just bought. Okay?
So, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I need a little break.
So say I have like 300 followers. Should I buy whatever will add me up to 10,000 to get the swipe up feature?
At 300? No, because that's still, unless you have crazy good content where you're, there's some people, and I don't know how these little teeny boppers do it, where they have like 1,000 followers and they get 300 likes on their photos. I don't know if they are really that cool, and I'm just too old for that, or if they're buying likes. You can also buy likes and interaction. You can do that, but you can buy smaller amounts, because really it sucks, but having a large following is social credibility. It really is. You can, there's some pages, and I forget what it's called, that a website that I use to purchase followers. You can buy them for YouTube, you can buy Twitter, you can buy basically all these platforms, and you can buy different people to do different things. So it is, I mean, it's kind of false advertising, but some people, I mean, it's there because people use it, right? You can buy followers in the US. Sorry?
It's a scam.
It's a scam, but it's like,
Instagram's a scam.
Social media is a scam.
Exactly.
Nobody likes your thing.
It-
Can you tie any
it's-
of this?
Go ahead.
I understand, I don't do anything about it, but I would want to tie all my effort and time to a purchase order,
Mm-hmm.
a sale. Can you do that with these platforms?
Yeah, so if you swipe up.
And you don't have to tell me how, just can you?
Eventually, yes, that is the
Okay.
goal. Yeah. The goal,
Because that's the only way it begins to make sense.
yes. If you're creating good quality content and people are interacting with you, just like a clothing brand, I've literally bought stuff off of Instagram. I've bought a hat, I've bought clothes, I've booked a photographer in Mexico City. Like, I've done a lot of different things on Instagram. So yes, you can 100% make money on it. It's just you have to have that social credibility. Followers is social credibility.
If you'll pay me, I'll like your whatever, it sounds
Yeah.
like a good deal for me.
Yeah, but
Sell my likes.
It also depends on what you're doing on Instagram.
exactly.
If you're just posting pictures and
Yeah,
what's the
nobody's
point
gonna.
of you needing likes?
I'm not trying to sell anything on my Instagram page right now, so nobody's sending me money. I am getting requests to post product. Now, how many of you are tired of people doing the opening box and like, oh my God, swipe up to get my code? Like, everybody is selling somebody's product, and that is the way businesses use influencers. So like that girl, that baby that's not even born yet and has 260,000 followers, that mom is getting sent baby stuff. She probably has not bought one baby thing herself because all these baby companies are sending it to her. Post this, post that. And people get paid a lot of money Kim Kardashian costs like $1 million for her to post one thing about your brand. But Kim Kardashian posts one thing about your brand, guess what? All those little teeny boppers and every person who buys her stuff and follows her show is going to go buy it because she said to. So there's the power of influence where you can actually pay people to talk about your brand, say how much you use it. They send it to you for free, plus they pay you. So it's crazy. It's a whole nother world. I get fired up. Any other questions on that? Okay.
You said, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You say you're self-taught, so I mean, you just looked up YouTube videos.
There's a few different things. There's also a million courses you can take. There's certifications. Facebook actually has a whole free certification program. You can get certified on building Facebook pages. Certified. Yes, they have. I forget what it's called. What did you say?
I said Google SEO. They have a free one too.
Yeah. Although I sometimes feel like YouTube videos are better than the actual platform videos. I don't know why these YouTubers do it. Well, people will buy their programs, that's why. I don't know if it's called Facebook School, Facebook Education. But yeah, Facebook Blueprint, that's what it is. So if you go through here, you can basically take all of their courses for free and get certified in Facebook. Yeah, but otherwise there's lots of YouTube courses you can buy. There's basically courses on everything. I've bought stuff and it's been totally worthless. So I always check their credibility. I don't like the post where it's just like Lewis Howes is like, download my free guide in to get 10,000 followers in 6 months. You're just on his email list and now he's targeting you. It's really all the same information. Let me see if I have anything else on Instagram. We talked about gaining followers, interacting with other accounts. Oh, one of the things I love that some celebrities will do is respond. Like there's this guy I follow who's an entrepreneur that puts out a lot of really good content, and I listen to his podcast. I'll show you, since I like him. No, I actually don't like Gary Vee. He's too loud for me. I follow this guy. Every time I've ever interacted with one of his stories, he's from Wisconsin, I'm from Wisconsin, we both love the Packers, so a lot of times I'll respond to his stories about that. Or if he drops a really good podcast, I'll screenshot it and he will reshare it or he'll do something. But every time I've ever sent him a DM, even if to say, cool post, bro, he responds. And that makes me feel like significant in some way. Yes, sir.
You talk about the Packers. What about the Milwaukee Bucks?
I know. God, I hope they pull it together. You know, that would be a dream come true because I cannot stand Golden State. I'm just so over them. Yes.
There's something else.
I hope so. Thank you.
For me, I have a challenge of being consistent.
Yes.
So I've been thinking about using FIVER.
Fiverr?
Fiverr.
Yep.
But a lot of those people are not in America.
Yeah.
So have you heard any bad things about using those?
I actually use them to create my logo for my company. I've used them a few times. It is hard because there's like that. A lot of times there's the misconnect between language barriers and what. They're hit and miss. They really are. If you find a good Fiverr person, get them off of Fiverr and keep them. But yeah, they're hit or miss, but they can be good resources. But when you say consistent, are you thinking of them to build content or?
No, for me to send them
things to do.
pictures and then they just be consistent in
Posting them?
And doing the hashtags and the little cute sayings.
Yeah, you could do that.
Instagram have the schedule post?
Instagram doesn't, so you have to go through it now. Yeah. One cool website. I was thinking about this on the way over here. Social Curator is it can be a subscription-based thing, or you can buy it 1 month at a time. But this is a really good social media girl. But what you can do is you can basically subscribe, and she sends you tons of really cool pictures with captions already. You just customize them to your brand. But she has pictures based on whatever season it is. You could use some of them, you can use all of them. But she's going to have a lot of cool content that you can just repurpose. So once you get it, it's yours, like you own it. And actually, I can show you. I tried it out on my Instagram that I'm not really building. So these are all pictures from her social curator. So I didn't take any of these pictures, but they look nice and clean, right? It looks like I have a legit Instagram. I just don't work on it very hard. But I just tailor it to, what does this say? I will start working when my coffee does. So that can be relevant to my business. What did I, Happy Money, I'll start working when my coffee does. Let's see, you might be a business owner if your coffee turns into wine and you're still working. So as an entrepreneur, sometimes you work all days. But I mean, for having like 39 followers, I actually got really good content or really good interaction based on these photos, just because they look so nice. And those were from her. Okay, let's bounce back. Have good content show up consistently. Respond to people when they message you, even when they comment on your stuff. Make sure you're responding to everybody. And I don't mean the ones that send the dirty messages, just block those, but like anybody who sends you genuinely nice compliments or questions, be sure to respond to them as soon as you can. Okay, I think we went through all of our examples. Okay, here are my resources. For photo editing, I use Snapseed, Lightroom, which is like a free Adobe version, and PhotoGrid. PhotoGrid, you can adjust pictures to fit in your story. You can do a lot of different resizing with that app. Story frames, you ever see the people who have really legit stories and they look really pretty? Unfold is what you can do with that. So it has nice frames that you can do some editing on and add your own text and stuff. Creating graphics and quotes, 2 apps that I use is Pinso and Canva. And then hashtag generator, I use an app called Hashtags, and it's just a pink box with the hashtag symbol in it. And for that one, you can type in one word, and it'll generate 30 hashtags for you. So you just copy them, and then what I usually do, sometimes I put them at the bottom of my post, sometimes I use my hashtags as a comment. If you post your hashtags as a comment, then your post looks nice and clean.
This one?
Yes.
But if somebody comments before you post
It doesn't matter, it still works. It still works. Yep, I've had that happen, but it still works.
Okay.
Yeah. If I ever am posting on my client's behalf and I notice that they normally get 100 or more likes on their photo and all of a sudden they have like 30, it's usually because the hashtags didn't stick. So hashtags will get people that don't normally go to your profile on your profile. Okay. Any more questions on Instagram before we?
Video editing. Do you have any apps for
Video
that?
editing, Vimeo video. Let me double check that. That's what it's called. Viva Video. V-I-V-A video. It's an orange icon. And that one is where I use, that's one where I create my IGTV stories. Sorry, I forgot about that one.
You say Viva?
Viva, V-I-V-A video.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm not able to find the explore feature on Instagram.
Let me show you. Are you guys sure? You're sure? Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yes.
I struggle with editing. I'm sorry. I struggle with editing, and I just want to know, do you have any resources for that, where I can get some training?
Editing photos or videos. Splice. I use the Viva video is really simple to use. Too challenging. You don't want to do it yourself?
No, I can try, but I struggle, and you said so it's really, really easy.
I think it's easy. I don't like editing that much. Some people love it, but I mean, what are you trying to add, graphics, or what are you trying to do?
Possibly all of that.
Yeah.
Just.
I would just start simple, like, because a lot of times we don't create content because we blow it out of proportion on how perfect it has to be. Sometimes it's better to just post and get something out there than to wait for it to be perfect. If I waited till everything was perfect, I wouldn't post half the stuff I did. But maybe just try little ones. The only other suggestion is to watch YouTube, tutorials on YouTube. Just pick an app.
I haven't done that.
Yeah, it's still challenging.
Like when I try to do it myself.
Yeah. At some point, you have to be like, these are my gifts, and these are like, I don't ever want to do this again. Fiverr, that's what you need is Fiverr. Just yeah, or find a kid, pay him in cookies. Yes, ma'am.
One more question. I'm sorry. you know when you link the Instagram and Facebook and you post on Instagram,
Yep.
on Facebook the hashtags appear. So
That's why I usually put my hashtags in the comments. So when I do my post, I'll post on Instagram. I'll write my whole spiel, and then I won't. Then I'll hit post. Then I'll go to my hashtag app, copy the hashtags, go back to Instagram and post my hashtags.
say that again, I'm sorry.
Okay, let me show you. So on Instagram, whoops, what is that? Not what we want. I'll pick one that's professional. Right here, let's see. So here's my comment, or this is what I wrote about this photo. Okay, that was shared to Facebook. I don't know if I click this, you can hit share and it shares to Facebook, okay? Now it's shared to Facebook. See right here, I don't have any hashtags. You got that? Okay. Now, oh, Bridget's the first one to comment. I commented on my own photo. Oh, look, here are all my hashtags. Yeah, and those don't go to Facebook because they're showing up as a comment, and then everybody comments below that. Does that make sense? Okay, you're welcome. Okay. Anything else on Instagram before we go?
I just have a general question.
Sure.
First of all, I'm impressed with the audience, how much they know so much, and I don't.
They all have some great questions, yeah.
Well, and here's my question.
Sure.
For you to be with your app, what was the time frame that you saw self-taught yourself, basically?
I've been doing this for 3 years paid.
Yeah, how long did it take you to learn where you're at?
I don't know. It's hard to say because I've learned as everything grows, and
Right.
Because I have a special interest in it. If something changes, I take the time to watch videos. I take the time to do courses.
But was it hours a day?
No.
Every day?
No, I don't know.
Easier to learn if you're using social
Yeah.
media every day.
And a lot of it is just trying it out. There's plenty of things I've tried, and a lot of people have different opinions. I've talked to a crowd where they all like contradicted me the whole time. I'm like, look, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Like, I'm not telling you this is the Bible. Like, you got to try things out for yourself. You try things. Some things work, some things don't. Trends change. Instagram is always adding things. Facebook is always adding things, and it can be very overwhelming. What's still overwhelming to me is that whole back end of Facebook, because that's like a programmer level there. And that I'm still learning, but like the basics is just when I see a video, I watch it, and I'm not one to sit and watch hour-long videos. Like I'm a millennial, I don't have a huge attention span either. So I will take it in bites, or if there's one specific thing I want to learn about, like that's kind of where I start.
Do you know anything about mid-store, and if there's a way to do any like paid promotions or?
I believe there is a way to do advertising on Nextdoor. They don't like if you post about yourself, but if you can get a neighbor or somebody to recommend you, then that I've heard very successful stories about insurance agents or people having a lot of success through Nextdoor. I always get kicked out of it somehow. I don't know if I have the wrong login or what, but I haven't been able to really learn that platform yet. Okay. We have about 17 minutes left, is that right? Okay, so we're going to fly through LinkedIn. So how many of you are on LinkedIn? I only got like 4 requests. Okay, a bunch of you are on. Okay, so we're going to start, let's just start with your homepage. So here is basically your news feed. This is where you're going to see posts. This is like where everyone is posting their stuff. Here's your profile. This is how many people have viewed your profile, and I believe that's over a lifetime. This is how many people have viewed my article. I'm still trying to like grow in LinkedIn. So LinkedIn I've recently adjusted my focus to that. Here are, I don't know what those are, recent groups that I visited, or recent pages I've visited. Here are groups that I belong to, and here's some followed hashtags that I follow. So let's go. So home, you have your home page, where again is your news feed. You have your network. This is where people are going to accept you're going to accept all your requests. And at this point, I just accept everybody. And if they send me an annoying message, I don't really ever have to block people. So that's where I accept all my people. Here's where you're going to get recommendations for other people that LinkedIn thinks you should follow, or that you should connect with. And they're going to do that based on your past experiences, whatever your interests are. They will make those connections for you and suggest. Here's the groups, here's companies and hashtags that I follow, and here's my total number of connections. Jobs, some of you guys will be in this space in a while. There's a lot of different things you can do here. You can track jobs, you can go by career interest. They'll send you suggestions of different job posts. I used to be an executive assistant back in the day for like 11 years, so I get a lot of executive assistant job recommendations. You can also turn a signal on if you're looking for a job, and that's visible only to recruiters. So if you turn this on, then people will know you're recruiting. Mine is very far off because I don't want a job. Messaging. This is my inbox. This is a paid message, so a LinkedIn offer. So see how it already kind of highlights it as a paid message? LinkedIn I like because people don't necessarily slide into your DMs unless they're trying to, it's a way more professional space. So it's not bad etiquette, I guess, to message somebody on LinkedIn if you're being professional about it, if you are offering them something or just making that connection. Again, best practice, I do not recommend you leading with, hey, check out my article, or hey, check out my this or my that. Like, don't ever lead with how they can help you because they don't give a, they're more worried about how they can help themselves. I caught myself there. This one is cool because I don't know this guy, but he sent me this. At first I was like, why did he send me that? And then a few days later he sent me why. He said, he made this video, will you endorse me for aerial photography? So we're going to jump into, I haven't watched it. Shall we watch it? Oh, it's 2 minutes long, so I'm already bored. But so he's doing photography videos for realtors, which is a really good niche. Where are we? LinkedIn. So once I watch it, that's a really clever way to get endorsements because that's like asking for a review. And I will actually go make the time to do that because that's the first time someone's ever asked me to do that, and it looked like it was a nice video. These things you have are automatic responses. And I hate these. Sure, it makes it super easy. Because look, there was like absolutely no effort. Now I gotta have to make sure I go actually do this. But if people get in the habit of doing it, again, it takes the personal touch out of it. So what I should do is write something nice like that that's a little bit more meaningful, and obviously that's not an auto text, right? Oh God, I hope you remember to go do that. He'll probably remind me. So messaging can be a very, very good tool. So this was the message I used so when I wanted to connect with somebody. So again, if you're connecting with people that you're not already connected with, it helps to send them a message. So I said, your LinkedIn profile came across my feed. And again, I insert her name so it doesn't look like I'm just copying and pasting, even though I at least took the time to write her name. Because of our mutual connection. I don't remember if we had mutual connections, but I use that anyway. Most people aren't going to check. I'm always looking to grow and expand my network, and you have an impressive lineup of skills. I'm beefing her up and making her feel good. I'd love to have you in my network. So that was like more about her than what I can do. But now I can go in and I can see her, and some people will respond. He responded like a whole bunch of times. Let's see. This guy was cool because I've had people ask me if I'm a business professional or own my own business now, should I still have all my job experience listed? The answer is yes. Even if you used to be a golf course driver, whatever they are, and now you own, I don't know, whatever it is. You should still have it because your job experience shows you. And the reason why I tell you that is because I used to sell condos, and this guy needed somebody who understood builders and understood social media. And he picked me out of all the social media people because I had that listed on my background. So now he's one of my biggest clients, and this came through LinkedIn. So that's why I say when you have your job, look at, he's so excited. I will leave that. That's why you should leave your content there. So another thing, so we're going to view my profile real quick. Every single space in here you should have filled out. So LinkedIn gives you a lot of room to write about yourself. So again, if you're in a profession, I suggest instead of, I used to be creative director, I just gave myself that title for my company, but instead I changed to something more about what I can do for you. So people know I take the guesswork out of social media advertising so you can generate qualified leads and build your brand. That's what I can do for people. So people know that. They see, here's socially branded media right away. They see I look professional, little do they know. And then I got my little about section where I can write a little bit more about myself. Here you kind of got your stats, how many people have viewed my profile, article views, and appearances, or whatever, search appearances. So if people are searching for somebody specific, they can do that. Here's my activities. So this is things I've commented on or have interacted with. And here's a little article I wrote about studying to DMs. And again, I'm like trying to find my strength on LinkedIn to see what works and what doesn't, because there's a lot of stuff that goes viral. So, and then here's my job experiences. And here's some certifications I have on social media, volunteer stuff, skills and endorsements. And this is kind of your social cred too. This is like a personal review. This is where people are reviewing you. They're endorsing you for your skills. You can pick out a bunch of skills. So you can do add new skill. I don't know if I have presenting in here. I could do that. If I could, spelling's not one of my skills. Presentation skills, I could do that. And now all of you guys can go endorse me for that. That would be cool. But you can do endorsements to kind of show your credibility and what your strengths at. Recommendations. If you want some, give some. And I apparently have not given very many, but I've received a couple. So that is like an area that I can work on to improve my my LinkedIn profile. Accomplishments, if you have accomplishments that are relevant to any of your work experience, feel free to list those. This is really a place you can brag, and it's okay. But the reason I say to make sure you have all of that filled out is because when you search for people, there are so many different things you can search for. So let's see. Somebody tell me their name.
RAVI.
That one's you, right?
Yep.
Oh, look at his nice profile. So he's got a great profile too, because he says what he does, and he's with entrepreneurial kindness, which he has been very kind. He's got his cover photo filled, which looks nice, because otherwise it's blue empty space. What is Ravi's top skill? Let's go. He's with that one. He's a little blurb about him. His specialties are in these areas. Activities. He's really busy on LinkedIn, so that's great. And then he has all of his job experience here, his education, licenses and certifications, volunteer experience. Oh, look at that. And endorsements and recommendations. So he's given a lot of recommendations, which was really cool.
Educators.
Is he looking for a job?
I wouldn't be able to see that because I'm not a recruiter.
Way on the bottom it says available for board roles and
Does it?
opportunities.
Perfect.
I'm always volunteering.
Let's see. Oh, so if you go to all filters, these are all the different ways that you can search for people. And this is why you want to have your whole profile filled out, because this is going to be how people actually find you, okay? So every one of your profile, every one of your sections that you can fill out, because this is really going to be what makes you visible. And you can search by first connection, second connection. If you have Sales Navigator, this is where the business to business comes in. This is a paid membership that you pay monthly. It's called Sales Navigator, and your search thing is on steroids. So it's like 10 times more beefed up as far as your search, what you're able to search, and then you're able to ask people, like make lists so you can do search for like specific industries, people that are connected with this person. So your search engine becomes really, really powerful when you have Sales Navigator. So a lot of people are using that business to business.
Is that available with premium also?
You have to have premium to have it, but then it's like they have like a package, premium and Sales Navigator. Yeah. So there's quite a few different levels of paid LinkedIn. There's the free version. There's the recruiter version if you work in recruiting. Somebody have that in their background. And then there's the Sales Navigator, and there's premium. A lot of people use premium when they're job hunting because they can send multiple emails. LinkedIn does have that limitation where you can only send so many messages, so you're not spamming people, which I appreciate. one of the other cool things I wanted to show you, and then we'll wrap up, is you can write an article on LinkedIn. So it's like a little publishing thing, which is kind of cool because it gives you credibility in your field. And then you publish it, and this shows up as an article that you've written. So I wrote one about people sliding into your DMs because there's a proper way to do that. And like, I've gotten the message, although it may be very professional, it's this long, and millennials, most normal people are not going to take the time to read that. And so your messages, if you're sending them real long, will often get ignored. So I wrote about that, but that is a cool way to do that. You can post easy from your phone. So posting pictures, resharing pictures. I don't even know where my stuff goes. There's so much stuff in here, sometimes my own posts get lost. I don't ever see my own posts. And they kind of do a thing where you come back and it's almost where you left off, so I always hit new posts. But it's kind of nice. But there's a space for people to get a lot of interaction and a lot of content sharing. So, any questions on LinkedIn?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Let's say I didn't know nothing about LinkedIn. What do you recommend? Do I go on Google, to YouTube, to teach myself? How would I teach myself to fully know how to use LinkedIn?
There are YouTube services. One of the things I do is one-on-one consulting too, which I'll just throw out as an option as me or somebody else. But I will do a Zoom call, which is we just do kind of like this, only not in person, where I basically go through and I can help you set it up. But once you set it up and you have it all built out, which is basically taking your resume and putting it into LinkedIn, all you need to do is really interact with people. And if you have an Instagram or Facebook account, it's all similar to Facebook in that you have your feed, you have your messages, you have your comments, you have your shares, and you have your pages. You can also, one thing is you can also do a LinkedIn page for your business too. So really it's either hiring somebody to help you if you need that much help, or it is watching tutorials or buying a course.
You gotta pay to play.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Just wanted to know, like, so with LinkedIn, do you recommend, how often do you post?
With LinkedIn, maybe once a week. Yeah, that one I'm not I'm still learning this one. But once to twice a week. Sometimes I'll do my own original posts and then I'll share stuff too. So kind of work up on that one. Some people are on it every day, so if your market is there versus Instagram and LinkedIn, spend more time there.
Now, and with that, like, to manage those posts, like, you said you use Hootsuite, and you said you didn't know if there's
Oh yeah, we were going to look at that, weren't we? From what I can tell, but just by glancing at it, I don't think that there is to schedule from the app directly. Hootsuite does have a free version. Yes. I don't, and the reason for that is just because I always curate my services based on what they need. My one-on-one consulting, I usually charge $110 for a whole session to go over your whole profiles and like revamp them, kind of what we talked about, transitioning from a personal profile into a professional one. Or if in his case, just to redo or help set up. That's okay. Yeah. I mean, mine was half sorry too until I took the time. Everybody's is until they take the time to do it. And if it makes sense for you to be there, then it's worth the investment. If you're getting your clients from somewhere else, then like wherever it's going to make the most sense for you to focus is where you. Yeah.
And mine is leasing business equipment.
Yeah.
Huge money.
Yep. Then that would make sense for you. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Can you run ads on LinkedIn too?
Yes, you sure can. LinkedIn, it has a whole nother level of doing LinkedIn ads too. Yeah. Super complicated, but good. Did you guys learn anything? Yeah. One more question in the back.
I have a question. So I'm not a marketing specialist, but when customers come to me and they're looking for ways to, get more followers or more exposure, I'll go to say their LinkedIn page.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it's been 2 weeks since you posted.
Yeah.
You need to post, but then just don't post business stuff all the time. Because earlier you said know what content, stay true to your content. But so what I heard before is everyone just doesn't want to see flyers or what you're selling. put something personal so we can know who you are behind the brand.
Yeah.
Is that giving them the wrong information?
Nope, that's correct. Yep, giving them, we talked about it maybe a couple times, but yeah, incorporating some personal into that. LinkedIn, I don't see that much personal stuff there, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. But definitely on Facebook and Instagram, incorporating some impersonal and some inspirational and some gives, not always asking, for sure.
Last question.
Last question? Okay.
I know that sometimes I see like similar competitors. They post pictures of the customers inside of their store. Sometimes I just think that's not
Appropriate?
I don't see major brands doing that.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's good or bad.
You always should have their approval to do that before you just do it. Yeah, I would ask their permission to post them on.
And I don't think that they are because they're doing so much all day.
Yeah, then maybe not. Depending on what the industry is and if that makes sense, then maybe it's okay. But I would probably be careful with that.
Well.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
All right, a round of applause for Bridget, because that was so interesting, right? The Bill handed out 2 pieces of paper, which I think is important for both of us. SCORE, obviously, SCORE offers free mentoring at their offices. So, if you're, fill out that form, so they have the intake form for them. And then my office at the HCC for the Center for Entrepreneurship. If you're interested in anything particularly around stuff like this, right, or workshops, or competitions, or hackathons, maybe you want to mentor students around hackathons, or maybe you just want to come in and talk to our office about your business, trying to connect you with MBDA or Goldman Sachs or the procurement office. Let us know your interest, so then we can cater our messages to you accordingly. The other thing I want to add, Bridget, is this stuff is so new, right? Mm-hmm. Like this education that you just gave and you self-taught off of YouTube, this is a no-brainer for like the Silicon Valley, right? They do this. Mm-hmm. Austin, they do this. But it's so important for the 4th largest city in the country, right? So important for us to be engaged in this. So I would love to reach out to not just Bridget, but everybody else out here. Some of you also do this. Come to me as educators. Let's build this as continuing education classes, right? For teaching more students. We could pay you, right? The school has instructors, so we could hire you. And then also we can market you and really the topic, right? We would market the courses. So it's a great way for not only to just learn, build your brand, but then also use the giant institution that HCC is to do more good, right? So once again, my offers to you, fantastic, very down to earth, to the point, and love what you've got set up. So kudos to you for empowering more women to do this stuff. But like I said, the offers for any one of you here as well. And then please fill out those forms for us, and then hand them out to Bill or
you can lay on the table as you leave, or lay right where you sit.
Perfect. And then if you want business cards, I'm happy to have some business cards on the table for me. My cell phone's on it. I don't really hide. Text me, call me, whatever you need. Any way we could help you, certainly, we would, that's what we're here for.
And if there's any further questions about SCORE, myself and Aziz are here to answer questions. Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I'm thinking we need to do some women boot camp events. So we need to talk about that.